Thank you so much for joining this lesson. We're going to discuss the Mokasa 1, that is 2025, in preparation for the KCC 2025. Remember to subscribe to this platform. Remember also to share this link with your friends. So we will go through the section 1 of this paper. And I hope that you people are going to benefit by the end of the day. Our consultation line remains 0704 153366. So we'll be covering all the questions from section 1 during this broadcast. Then later I'll be scheduling a lesson for the same paper, section 2. As we continue learning, be reminded of our program here, whereby you can access airtime of any amount for any line, as long as the line is functioning in Kenya. You just have to go to your M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa, then the paybill number is 737356. The account is the phone number that you're purchasing the airtime for. Could be your own phone number or the phone number of a friend that you're purchasing airtime for. So you enter the account as that phone number which you intend to receive airtime. Then after that, you enter the amount, you complete the transaction, and your airtime will be reflected instantly. Number 1, without using a calculator, evaluate half of 3.5 plus 1.5 into 2.5 minus 2/3 divided by, that is on the denominator. Now we have 3/4 of 2.5 divided by half. So this one, we will follow the board mass, whereby we have to work out whatever is in brackets first, then know that the of means a multiplication. So from the numerator, actually we can work out the numerator first until we settle it, then we go to the denominator. So from the numerator, we are talking of a half, and instead of we have a multiplication of 3.5, which becomes a 7/2 when changed to a mixed, to an improper fraction. Then plus 1.5 becomes 3/2 into, now inside these brackets, we have to talk about 2.5 minus 2/3, which becomes 11/6. So you work out that addition. Then in the next step now, we will be discussing a half multiplied by 7/2, which is a 7/4. Then we add 11/4. 11/4. Yeah, that is something you should see. You see 11/4 comes from this, yeah. 11/4 that way. Then after this now, we can compute, whereby 7/4 plus 11/4 can now be brought together. So 7 plus 11, which is 18/4. Yeah, 18/4 that way. Then after this now, we can check our denominator and what it has. So in the denominator, we will be having 3/4 instead of a multiplication of 5/2, which is a 2.5. Then instead of divide by now, we can multiply by 2/1. So this can simplify to 15/4, right? 15/4, that's 15/4. Yeah, so now with this, we can combine, get a final answer, whereby we need to talk about now combined. We combine 18/4, which can still be simplified to 9/2, divided by, the denominator is 15/4. Remember, in such a case now, we need to say 18/4 can be multiplied by 4/15. You see now, 4 cancels with this. By 3, we'll get 6, and by 3, we'll get 5. 6 out of 5 will narrow down to 1, then 1 over 5. Yeah, that way. So that is how we solve number 1. Remember to share this link so that you may invite someone to the same lesson. Talking about number 2 now, which is on indices. We have 2 raised to the power of 2x minus 1. Then this is multiplied by 16 raised to the power of 2x minus 1 again. This is equivalent to 1. We are going to break down this composite number into the least possible base according to the equation. And we will also talk about 1, whereby we talk about the 0 index, whereby a law says that anything power 0 gives us 1. So following this law, we can introduce a base and have it as 2. So we rewrite our equation such that we have 2x minus 1 multiplied by 2 raised to power 4 into 2x minus 1. This is equivalent to 2 raised to 0. 2 raised to 0 will have the equivalence of 1. So there is no change of the expression. Everything remains as it is. Now we can apply some more laws. But say in case we have the same base raised to a given power, multiplied the same base to a different power, we need to take the base, then the powers are just added. This is the multiplication law of indices. So applying it in our equation now, it will be 2. Then now we are having the powers will be multiplied. This power, the powers will be added, sorry. So it will be 2x minus 1 plus 4, 2x minus 1. This is equivalent to power 0. Now that so far the base is just the same, we can simply equate the indices. Equating the indices means we will say 2x minus 1 plus 8x minus 4. This is equivalent to 0. I think I have opened the brackets well. Yeah, that way. So when we start grouping terms together now, this will become 10x because of 2 and 8. So we'll have 10x being equal to -1, -4 becomes -5. But to the right-hand side, it will become positive. So the value of x will be 5 out of 10, which simplifies to half. So the value of x in such a question is half. Number 3, a metallic solid cone has a base radius 6.4 and a slant height 15.8 centimeters. If the density of the metal is 7.9 grams per cubic centimeter, calculate its mass. We know that mass is usually given by density times volume. And we are given the density already. That means we need to calculate the volume first. Now that it is a cone, volume is given by a third by r cubed. Being a cone, we talk about sorry, I think I was confusing a cone with a sphere, whereby for a cone we just need a third of the base area, then multiplied by height. And remember, the height here should be the perpendicular height. So for this particular cone, we are having the radius as 6.4 and the slanting edge is given us 15.8. Therefore, for us to get the height now, which will run through there, h should be given by, when we take 15.8 squared minus 6.4 also squared, then we take the square root, we get 14.45 centimeters. 14.45 centimeters. Then we get back now to our formula, whereby we will talk about volume being third pi r squared times the height of 14.45. This will give us a volume of 619.9 cubic centimeters. Now with volume, we need now to get to mass, whereby mass will be density times volume. Density times volume. Then this is going to be density times volume. Let me work out that thing. 7.9 multiplied by 619.9, giving us 4897.21. This mass is in grams. So to make it kg, we divide by 1,000. 4.897 kilogram. This is to 4 significant figures. So that is how, and actually this is on measurement, whereby students are supposed to know that the topic on measurement, whether area, volume, densities, it must appear in any serious exam. So it's good for you to know that we are dealing with a very reliable area called measurements. Number 4, members of a group decided to raise 1,000 Kenya pounds towards a charity by contributing equal amount. 5 of them were unable to contribute. The rest had to therefore pay £1 more each to raise the same amount. How many members were in the group originally? Can we let the original members to be X? So if we let the original members to be X, then the amount they have to give, the amount they are supposed to give, amount per head or per person to give is going to be they share when they are X. New amount per head. New amount per head becomes they have to raise the same amount, but how many are they now? Yeah, X minus 5. Some people have disappeared from this charitable organization. Therefore, because they were 5, the same amount is being distributed amongst X minus 5. Now, the amount each is giving originally and the amount each is giving now is differing by only 1. So the new amount minus the original amount per head should be £1. That is an equation which we are supposed now to deal with. Allow me use LCM, whereby the LCM is X minus 5 into X. So that LCM divided by the first denominator here, we will have X minus 5 cancelling. So that 100 multiplies by X, then minus LCM divided by the denominator here, we will have X cancelling. So that 100 multiplied by X minus 5. This is equivalent to 1 multiplied by X squared minus 5X. Yeah, that way. So now we are done with the LCM. 100 X minus 100 X, then this becomes positive 500 equals to X squared minus 5X. So you see 100X and 100X. can just cancel one another. Then from this, we will talk about the quadratic equation now, which is having x squared minus 5x. Then the 500 can be subtracted here so that you equate to 0. Now we can talk of factorization method of solving. Product A by C. Then sum equals to -5. So when we work with -25 and +20, you realize that the product is a -500 and the sum is -5. So x squared minus 25x plus 20x minus 500 equals to 0. So that from the first two, we factor out x, we remain with x minus 25. And in the other two terms, we factor out 20. So that we remain with x minus 25 again equals to 0. In the brackets, we have x minus 25. Then outside the brackets, x and 20 equals to 0. X minus 25 equals to 0 means that x is 25. And x plus 20 equals to 0 means x equals to -20. Now that we are dealing with a number of people, we settle for 25. So the original number of people is exactly 25. Remember, after this step, you can solve the quadratic equation using any method of your preference. Number 5, which is on factors and LCM. The LCM of three numbers is 1,512, and their GCD is 6. If two of the numbers are 54 and 72, find the least third possible number. Right. So what I advise students is that they use what we call factorization. Factorization means we take, if it is the LCM, 1512, we express it in terms of prime factors. That becomes 2 power 3 multiplied by 3 power 3 multiplied by 7 power 1. Then the next number is the GCD, which is 6. 2 power 1, 3 power 1. The next number is the first number. You can call it the first number, which is a 54. Now, when 54 is factorized, it becomes 2 multiplied by 3 power 3. Yeah. And then the second number, number 2, which is a 72. This one becomes 2 power 3 and 3 power 2. 3 power 2. Then now we have the possible other number now. The possible other numbers, but we want the least. So the third number. Now we are going to ask ourselves a few things. Following the factors that we have, the three numbers must give us a GCD of 6. And the GCD that we have has been split into 2 times 3. So every number which is coming in must contain 2. Every number must have 2. Therefore, the ones which are provided, 54 and 72 are both having 2. At least 2 must appear. Therefore, the new number which is coming, so that they may share the GCD, must also have 2. Again, there is the new number here, whereby this number must also have 3. You can see the other two are having 3. 3 power 3 and 3 power 2. 3 power 3 and 3 power 2. Now the new number must have 3 power 1, strictly power 1, because if it goes to power 2, the 3 numbers will start sharing a power of 3, which is greater than power 1. And now the GCD is likely to change. So for the GCD to be maintained at 6, the number which is incoming must have 3, strictly power 1. Strictly power 1. Then multiplied by, now the two numbers, the numbers which have been provided, they must also provide a factor 7. And you can see the first two are not having 7. So the third one should contain 7 now. Now that the first two are not having 7, then we should have the third one containing 7. So that means the least possible number will be 2 times 3 times 7, which is 6 times 7, giving us 42. Giving us 42. There might be other numbers. We are done with the question, but there might be other numbers, whereby we say the incoming number, they must all have 2, but now that 54 is having 2 power 1, the incoming number can still have 2 power 2. It must have 2 power. It can have 2 power 2. Reason being, 54 is already restricting them to the GCD. Then the incoming number must have 3 power 1. It cannot have 3 power 2. Then the number which is coming must have 7. So this is another possible number. This is 4 times 3, which is 12, times 7, giving us 84. So 84 is another possible number. But now that we wanted the list, then it is 42. Look at number 6, a very interesting question on angles and polygons. The exterior angle of a regular polygon is equal to 1/3 of the interior angle. Calculate the number of sides of the polygon. Let us look at this relation first. We know that exterior and interior usually add up to 180. Then now there is a language provided here that exterior is equal to 1/3 of the interior. So if interior is let to be x, then exterior shall be 1/3 x. Then we are saying that now x plus 1/3 x should be 180. So that 1/3 x equals to 180. And you know this is a 4/3x equals to 180. So that x becomes 180 multiplied by 3/4. So 45 by 3. 45 by 3. I think we can check that. 180 multiplied by 3 out of 4. This gives us 135. 105 is the x, which is exterior, which means the exterior now becomes 1/3 multiplied by 135. 1/3 by 135 here, which is exactly 45. Simple, 45. So now that we have the size of an exterior angle, and we know that sum of exterior angles is usually 360, and this is a regular polygon, which means all of them are equal. Then 45 multiplied by their number should give us 360. So that will remain with the number 360 over n. 360 over 45, that is. So when you divide all that, you're going to get 8. 8 sides. Yeah, get 8 sides. Number 7. It's my hope that you're still subscribing to this platform. Remember, our line is 0704153366. Find the reciprocal of 2.234. Hence, use tables to evaluate 5 out of 2.234 raised to power 3 to 4 significant figures. To 4 significant figures. Okay. Find the reciprocal of, this one is independent. You must not use the reciprocal tables, or you may or may not. Finding the reciprocal means just taking 1 out of 2.234. This is going to give us 0.4476. This one is called a B mark, which is very independent because you can either read from a math table, you can also get the same from the calculator directly. Hence, use tables. Now, beyond there, we are instructed not to use tables. So what are we solving? 5 over 2.234 raised to power 3. So we can first work out this division, whereby we need 5 multiplied by the reciprocal of the 2.234. Then now we are supposed to raise everything to power 3. Now it's 5 times. This reciprocal has been found, 0.4476. That way. Then now we raise everything to power 3. And remember, we are supposed to use tables here. So I will talk of 5 multiplied by 0.4476, whereby I'm getting 2.238 power 3. So we should read this from the table of cubes. From the table of cubes, let me access the table of cubes from my documents here. So I hope, yeah, the 4-figure table. So we are talking about the cube now. So we are cubing 2.238. 2.238. So I have to read 2.238. So 2.2, 2.2, that is the row. Then the column of 2.23, so the column of 3, which is here. So this is what we are reading first, 11.090. 11.090. Then we add. Now on the column for addition, we have to go to the column that contains 8. That contains 8. And we read it down here. 1 to 1. So we bring it here. 1 to 1. So we will be having a 1, 1, carry 1. This becomes 2. So 11.211. 11.211. But now we've been advised to 4 significant figures. So the final answer will be 11.21. That is the final answer. Number 8. The image of A, -25, under a translation T is A prime to 2, B, 9, -5 is the image of B. Under the same translation T, determine the coordinates of B. So we'll be talking about a object plus a translation vector to give us image. And we must write all this as column vectors. So A, which is -2, 5, when we add their known translation vector, we should get the image of A, which is 2, 2, which means from the X components, we can remain with the value of X as being equal to 2 plus 2, which is 4, because this one will be added to the other side, and Y will be 2 minus 5, which is a -3. Therefore, the translation vector is 4, -3. 4, -3. That's our translation vector. Now, with the translation vector, we can talk about the coordinates of B, which are unknown. So we can let them to be AB. When we add the vector 4, -3, we are supposed to get the image 9, -5. The image of B is already here. So now can we get A, which is going to be 4 will be subtracted from 9. We get 5. And B, 3 will be added to the other side. So -5 plus 3, get -2. So the coordinates of B should be -2. I should start with the X component. Sorry for that mistake. 5 minus 2, that way. 5 minus 2. So that is how we work out that question on translation and translation vectors. But now we should talk about number 9, a very serious question on rates of work and compound proportions. Rates of work and compound proportions. The question says that 6 men take 28 days working for 10 hours a day to pack 4480 parcels. How many more men working 8 hours a day will be required to pack 2560 parcels in 4 days? So we have men, this case, I think it's good we do a good analysis. We have men, we have the days they are taking, and we have the hours they are working a day. And then we have the parcels being packed. So 6 men, 28 days, 10 hours a day to pack 4480. How many more men, the question is here, working 8 hours a day, required to pack 2560 in 4 days? Yeah, that way. So once we have failed there, now we are supposed to know that we are going to vary the number of men using the ratio of days, the ratio of hours, and the ratio of parcels. Let's begin with the days. 6 men require 28 days. For men to require 4 days, they have to be more. So we increase men in the ratio of days. To increase means the bigger proportion is the one on top. Multiplied by, we go to hours now. Working 10 hours, they require 6 men. When they start working 8 hours, they must require still more men. And if they require more men, then again, an increasing ratio, 10 and 8. Then finally, we are talking of 4480 parcels to be packed by 6 men. 2560 will be packed by fewer men. So the number of parcels now is supposed to decrease. To have a decreasing ratio, need 2560 out of 4480. You know, when we compute all this, we are going to get 30 men. And once we get that men, we go back to the question, how many more men? How many more men? Which means now 30 are needed, and they were originally 6. So we need 24 more men. 24 more men are needed in this case. Now there is number 10 here. From a point A, the student observed the angle of elevation of the top of the building to be 30. After walking 20 meters from A to B towards the foot of the building, he observed an angle of elevation to the top of the building to be 72. Calculate the height of the building, correct to 2 decimal places. This is application of a trigonometry in real life. Whereby now I'm saying that there is a tall building. Then on a horizontal level, we are having 2 points here. There is a point A, then there is a point B. There are 20 meters here. Then while at A, the angle of elevation is 30, but going nearer, the angle becomes 72 degrees. You see that? 72 degrees. So what is the height? This can be X. So that we say the bigger length here is a bigger length is 20 plus X. 20 plus X. That way, 20 plus X. Now, let's analyze this question now. Working with a trigonometry, we know that the tan of 72 degrees, according to the smaller triangle, will be given by tan equals to opposite over adjacent that way. So we can express H from this. H equals to X tan 72. Again, you can see that the tan of 30 will be given by hypotenuse, opposite, sorry, then divide by adjacent length, 20 plus X. And from this, again, H can be expressed as 20 plus X, the tan of 30. Now that we have two expressions giving us H, then we can say X tan 72 is the same as 20 plus X, the tan of 30. Then we find X first. We find X first. Start by finding X. Therefore, when you're computing the calculator, the value of X shall be exactly 4.618 meters. Then after this, now we can take X to one of the expressions and we find our H. X tan 72, giving us 14.21 meters to 2 decimal places according to the demand. So that is how we simplify the equation here. You just need a calculator and you group terms together. Actually, tan 30 by 20 will be left on the right. Then we take tan 72 minus tan 30 because they both give us X now. And now we simplify. Look at this diagram. A windscreen wiper of a car whips through an angle of 120 degrees. The shaded region of the figure below represents the area swept clean by the blade of the wiper AB. If OA equals to 14, OB O to B equals to 21, taking pi, it's 22 over 7, find the area the glass swept clean. So for us to get area of the glass, which is swept clean, we need the shaded area in this case. The shaded area is going to be the bigger, whereby it's theta over 360 pi r squared minus beta over 360 pi r squared. So the bigger sector minus the smaller sector. The bigger sector minus the smaller sector. So we just need 120 over 360 pi r squared minus beta over 360 pi r of 14, then squared. So the first one is 462 minus 205 and a third. Yeah, and a third, that too. So that the final answer becomes 256 and 2/3. This is cubic or square centimeters. Square centimeters, that too. That is the exact area. A student can be tempted to make it a, no, sorry, not even tempted. The instructions are very clear. Instructions are very clear to 1 dp. So this one now has to be concluded 256.666, which makes it a 7. Actually, this is the final answer which will attract a mark. That is the final answer which will attract a mark depending on the instructions. Looking at 12, use matrix method to solve 4x minus 5y equals to 13, negative 2y plus 3x equals to 8. So let me rewrite the equation. Let me rewrite. Equals to 8. Now with equation arranged such that terms are corresponding, we can extract what we call the coefficients matrix, whereby we just lift the coefficients as 4, negative 5, 3, negative 2. Then we have a variables matrix. Then we have the constants matrix there. Yeah, that is it. Now we have to look at the determinant first. The determinant of the coefficients matrix 4, negative 5, 3, negative 2 is going to be product of elements in the leading diagonal minus product of the elements in the other diagonal. So we need negative 8 plus 15. You know, negative 8 plus 15 will give us 7. That two. Negative 8 plus 15 will give us 7. Now that we have 7, we have to get inverse of this. Inverse becomes when we divide everything by 7 in this matrix, but having changed 2 with 4, negative 2 and 4, and for 5 and 3, we change the sign for. So negative 5 becomes 5 and 3 becomes negative 3. We change sign for, we reverse sign for in the other diagonal, but in the leading diagonal, we change positions of the elements. So that is the inverse now. We have to multiply with this inverse both sides of the matrix equation that we add. And actually it is pre-multiplication, so it should come first. A pre-multiplication. So that now we have 4 minus 5, 3 minus 2, xy. This is equal to 1 over 7, negative 2. We also multiply this side, negative 3 by 4. Then we are already having 13/8 that way. At this stage now we say a matrix multiplied by its own inverse gives us the identity matrix. The identity matrix is 1, 0, 0, 1. We are still having our xy now here. This is equal to 1 over 7 into, we multiply here, row, column. So negative 2 by 3 plus 5 by 8. That will give us 14. Then again, the second row and the same column. negative 3 by 13 plus 4 by 8. This will give us exactly negative 7. So at this point now we can say identity matrix multiplied by any matrix will have the matrix remaining the same. So this remains xy equals to, this will be 2, this will be negative 1. And now from this we can conclude that the value of x is 2, the value of y is negative 1. So we have solved our equation using the matrix method. A few things that you must understand is that before you extract the coefficients matrix, the constants matrix, and the variables matrix, we should have elements corresponding x, x, y, y, that way. That is the first thing, you know. The other thing you should know is how to determine the inverse of a matrix. Then after that, you know that a matrix and its own inverse should give us the identity matrix. The other thing you're supposed to know is how to multiply matrices on the right-hand side. Then after that, now you will be able to talk about identity matrix multiplied by any matrix will have the matrix remaining the way it is. And now here we can simplify by 7 every term now, so that we get our final answer that way. Number 13. Allow me begin by first of all factorizing 3. Start we have x squared minus 16. Then we divide by 3 again. Start to remain with x squared minus 8x plus z18. 48 by 3, it's 18, 16, so 16 that way. So 3 cancels. Now from the numerator, we talk about a difference of 2 squares because there is a square root for x squared, a square root for 16. Between them is a minus. We call it a difference of 2 squares. Generally, a difference of 2 squares is usually factorized by x minus y, x plus y. So to factorize this, we need x minus 4, x plus 4. That is fully factorized. Then we get to the denominator now, which is a quadratic expression. In this quadratic expression, we will be talking about a product of 16 and a sum of negative 8, making it negative 4, negative 4. So that now we rewrite it x squared minus 8x. Instead of 8x, now we replace it with negative 4x and negative 4x, then plus 16. So from here, we can factor out x. Then there is a negative 4, x minus 4 again. You see from the brackets, we have x minus 4, and outside the brackets, x minus 4. So this is the factorized denominator. When we combine, and it's good to know that, you see it's a repeated root after factorization. This one is called a perfect square. A perfect square. So now we'll be combining the numerator x minus 4, x plus 4, divide by x minus 4, x minus 4. So that we have this one cancelling with this, and we have x plus 4 over x minus 4 that way. So that is now the most simplified. Number 14, which is a question on geometry. Use a ruler and a pair of compasses only to construct a triangle ABC, in which AB equals to 4.3 centimeters, BC 3.9 centimeters, and the angle ABC is 135. Then you measure the length AC. I'll be guiding through this question so that later during your own time now, you check which is the most appropriate approach that you can use the most appropriate way. Let me first simplify. Then after you've seen how to work out the question, you'll be using the right tools now to finish up. This is point A. And after measuring my 4.3 centimeters, I have point B. Then now from B to C, there is 3.9 centimeters. So we are supposed to play along with all the angles which can be constructed without a ruler so that we may see how we can assemble 135 degrees. These angles are 30, 90, 60, and they are multiples, together with their multiples. So we should know that 90 plus 45 will give us 135. Is that okay? Yeah. So we need to bisect or to draw a perpendicular line at B. We just draw a perpendicular through B. So we draw a perpendicular this way through B. Then after raising the perpendicular there, this is 90, the other side 90. So now we bisect the angle on our right such that we can stand here at B. Starting at B, we make a mark here. We also make a mark here using the same radius. Then starting on those arcs, we make other arcs such that we will have bisected the other 90. Once we bisect it now, once we bisect it that way, this one automatically will become 135 because this is a 45 here. Automatically 135. So we have our angle 135 degrees. Along this angle now, because we are from B, we will measure our 3.9. Our 3.9 that way. So that we mark point C. Then we join our triangle. We just join our triangle. It will now be complete. So we join to A. That is it. Now we are done with the construction of the triangle. Measure the length AC. Now, if you use the right instruments, you'll be getting AC to be 7.5 centimeters. If you make slight errors, you're not supposed to go beyond 7.6 or below 7.4, the recommended accuracies. So that is it. Let's check number 15, a question on commercial arithmetic, currency exchange rates. A Kenyan bank bought and sold foreign currencies on 2 different days, as shown below. On 28th December 2024, 1 sterling pound was going for 130.10 Kenya shillings. Yeah, you can see the rate there. Then on 29th December 2024, South African rand was having those rates. A businessman arrived in Kenya on 28th December 2024 with 50,000 sterling pounds. He changed the whole amount to Kenya shillings. While in Kenya, he spent 80% of the money and changed the balance to South African rand on 29th December 2024, determined to the nearest rand the amount he obtained, that is from the bank. We're supposed to know that when this businessman came to the bank, he was having sterling pounds. So the bank bought them from him. So the bank was buying, and the bank buys 1 sterling pound at 130.10. How much will it give this businessman who is having 50,000 of them? So it will be 50,000, and each is being bought at 130.10. So coming to Kenya, he will receive 6,505,000. It's now Kenya shillings. Yeah, so the Kenyan bank will give him this. Then while in Kenya, he spent 80. So we can talk about balance now. The balance is going to be 20% of 6,505,000 in Kenya shillings, which is 1,301,000. So this is the amount the businessman is having while he goes to the bank to demand some South African rand. So he will buy South African rand and the bank is going to sell to him. So the bank sells to South African rand at a rate of 9.58, and this guy is having 1,301,000. So how much South African rand will he be able to buy if the bank is selling to him? So 1,301,000 out of 9.58, and the South African rand is going to receive shall be 135,804 to the nearest South African rand. South African rand. Remember, there are some acronyms. If a student doesn't know the language that we are using in the bank of buying and selling, some don't know when to buy, when to sell. We can use the acronym KEFOSE and FOKEBU. FOKEBU means foreign currency to Kenyan currency, use the buying column. KEFOSE means Kenyan currency to foreign currency, selling column. And here we multiply, here we divide. So that is it. You can be guided through that. The figure below shows a solid square-based pyramid. Draw a net of the solid. Draw a net of the solid. You're supposed to know that we are drawing a net. We are not sketching. We are not sketching. Therefore, I expect exact measurements here. So the first thing we are going to draw is the base, which is a square. Remember, I'm just guiding. Later, you'll be using an exact measurement. The square base is having a 3 by 3. 3 by 3. So we have a 3, 3. This is A, B. According to the solid, after A, B is on this side, C, D. Then after that, now we have the triangular faces, which we have to open them here, whereby we need to measure a length of 4 centimeters. Then standing at D, using 4 centimeters, we stand at C, using the same 4 centimeters. And we connect. Then we have to do the same while standing at B, use 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters. Then we connect again. Now that is all V, we are still constructing V, the vertex V. Then standing at B, using 4 centimeters, stand at A, using 4 centimeters, still construct. And finally, while standing at A and D, we do the same. Using 4 centimeters, using 4 centimeters, we make arcs there. When you join, that we are getting the last triangular face. Last triangular face. So this is the net that we needed. 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So this is V, this is V, this is V, and also this is V. So that is all that was required for number 16. Remember that we will be scheduling a lesson later for us to cover the section 2, which is a very good area. Already seen it, a very good area. So we'll be covering it later as time goes by. Remember to subscribe to this platform Remember to invite friends. Remember our consultation line. You can also use the same line to appreciate our work. Thank you so much.